Hey, pussy, are you still there?
I actually admire that you can actually be this fake. And like when the TV comes on, how you can just change. You're the scum of the earth.
You don't doubt me, I couldn't do it. The odds that I couldn't do it. Look at me now. Level pound for pound. Headshot dead. That's it.
Yo, yo, yo!
Yes, sir.
What's going on, baby?
Man, another beautiful day in the neighborhood.
You already know we are back again with another episode of Over the Octagon podcast. Oh man, we're almost to the first quarter of the year here, and you know, a lot of shit's happened. We're kind of heating up again. Now we're about to start cranking up after UFC 300. But Saturday night we had, I guess, the most underwhelming fight night of the year thus far. Even though still kind of good at the same time, lots of finishes. Lots of stuff came out of it. A couple things happened, throughout this last week. So we are recording tonight on Monday night. So, we'll touch base on a few things that's happened today and over the weekend. But, yeah, man, UFC Fight Night last week. Yep. You had Matthew Nicolai and Alex Perez.
Yep.
And, Alex Perez in the win column, getting that top 5 win in the flyweight division.
Yep.
Pretty big win, especially seeing that the division where it's at right now. Get a knockout win as an underdog against a top 5 guy, puts you right there in the top 5 mix. You never know what could happen. You got UFC 301 coming up with the flyweight belt on the line.
Big implications there.
Yeah. Am I saying Alex Perez is ready for a title shot? I don't think so. I think
need new blood in that division, though. Like you need new blood in that division. That's why we like the matchup with Urseg. Fuck it, let Steve Urseg come in there, dude, at number 10 and take a shot.
Do you what's next for Perez? You kind of put him like maybe Brandon Royval.
Yeah, I think like a Royval or Moreno.
I think Moreno is going to need I think he's going to end up having to fight back.
Yeah, Moreno did say he's taking a break. So I think that kind of takes him out of that discussion. But yeah, I mean, I think Royval is a good fight for him. Maybe a number 1 contender fight.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think for Moreno's sake, I think you give him like 5 months, 4 or 5 months, maybe even 3 to 4 months, and then you bring him back and make him fight. What's his face, Makayev.
Yeah,
make
somebody's gonna have to.
Intro to the top 5, and then if Brandon Moreno takes another L, he takes another L, and then you just kind of see the decline of Brandon Moreno.
Yeah.
If not, he shows that he's where he's at, properly ranked. So
yeah.
And then obviously Bogdan Goskov getting the TKO win against Ryan Spann in the first round,
second
round. I'm sorry. Yeah. But that's back-to-back L's for Ryan Spann.
Yeah, Bogdan Guskov is a fucking beast, man. Looks like Anthony Smith.
Yeah, the clone of Anthony Smith. Yeah,
he's like the Russian version of Anthony Smith, but he's better.
No, that's 3 in a row for Ryan Spann.
Yeah, listen, man, it's just he looked good Saturday night too against Guskov, but that's just such a tough fight. Guskov is one of those guys that's on this like really fast upward trajectory,
sure,
especially in a rather shallow light heavyweight division. He's going to find himself up in that top 5 mix pretty quickly.
You think so?
I do. Yeah, I do. Especially with getting wins the way he does. Yeah, I do. I think you're going to give him a ranked opponent, or maybe a top 10 or ranked opponent. He's really good. He hits fucking hard, bro.
How do you think he'll play against a guy like Johnny Walker or something?
See, Johnny Walker's a tough matchup for anybody just because of his size.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Johnny Walker's so long. But, I don't know. He hits so hard, bro. We've seen Johnny Walker get knocked out.
Sure. A couple times.
It's almost like Bogdan's like one of those guys to where he has that style to where if you're able to keep him at a distance, you'll do okay. But that's so much easier said than done. Eventually, you're going to get within his punching range, and if he fucking connects, you're in trouble. Like,
Yeah.
you're in big, big, big trouble.
It's going to be tough for him. I think. I mean, his only loss in the UFC is by submission.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
if anybody and everybody, that's going to play a big factor as the time it gets
Yeah,
bigger. But
and
light
that's-
heavyweight's really not a grappling division.
No, that's what I was going to say.
mean,
It's a rather
kind of plays into his favor, you know.
It does. It's kind of a shallow division right now. That's why I say, like, he's on such an upward trajectory that there's not going to be a lot of guys that I think he can't beat.
Yeah.
Obviously, he can lose to anyone. Anybody can beat anybody in in mixed martial arts. That's why we love it so much. But just the way he fights, man, if he's going to close the distance eventually, and when he does, he's going to hit you. And when he fucking hits you, I don't know if you survive. He hit Ryan Spann with an uppercut that, fuck, man, and then bounced his head off the canvas like 6 times.
And it's crazy. Ryan Spann's on 3 straight losses, and he was ranked number 11.
Yeah.
That's how shallow the division is.
It is. Yeah. Light heavyweight's been down bad for a while, and now we've seen the revival of like the top 5 with, Jamal Hill and Yuri and Alex Pereira, obviously.
Yep.
Like you've seen now
Khalil
you have
Roundtree.
some top now you have some really good top contenders, but it's still really shallow compared to, like, let's say the lightweight division, right? Where you have guys that are unranked.
Yeah.
That are just savages.
Yep.
So it's just not the same. It's so much different. But yeah, I like Guskov, man. Always have. But yeah, it was a good fight night. I think that it didn't have the names on it to kind of draw people's attention. But that's why we watch all these events, right? And like anybody, just because you don't know, the fighters or the names on the cards, like these are the cards that you want to watch to see the people that you're going to be watching headline pay-per-views in the future.
Sure. And I mean, as of right now, he's probably the only one on this card that's going to be doing something like that in the near future. I mean, outside of maybe Alex Perez, but I don't see him headlining a pay-per-view unless he's fighting for a title shot, obviously. But
yeah, I mean, headlining a pay-per-view is, that's obviously a
stretch.
Yeah, that might be a stretch, right? But you understand my point in that.
Yeah, nobody on this card is fighting for a title anytime soon, in my opinion, unless obviously Alex Perez beats Brandon Royval.
I mean, maybe Karine Silva. Karine Silva's
title anytime soon.
Karine Silva's on a vicious winning streak, and she's good. She's very good.
Good,
you're talking about fighting for a title like this year, no, but next year, possibly. Yeah, right, we'll fight 4 more times. Say you fight 4 more times before the end of 2025. There will be some fighters on this potentially from this card that.
It's always weird to look back on these things and see that, though.
That's my point. Yep.
So, but yeah, so that fight night was kind of iffy, and then on the same night as the fight night, we had Bare Knuckle FC. Mike Perry, Platinum Perry. They should just call it the Bare Knuckle Platinum Perry fucking fighting organization because he just dominates. He's built for that shit, dude. Like he is built for bare knuckle. There's nothing else to say.
He's a beast,
undefeated in bare knuckle, never lost. Got wins over people like Michael Venom Page and
Eddie Alvarez,
and then Thiago Silva.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny you bring up the name and what they should be calling Bare Knuckle FC, but you saw who now is part owner of BKFC.
Conor McGregor.
Conor fucking McGregor, dude.
Yep. Because he knows, man. He knows. That shit's fucking entertaining, dude.
It's awesome, yeah.
It's wild to watch. It's gruesome. You gotta be into the serious side of fighting to enjoy it. But
yeah. I will say for me personally, I like much more enjoy mixed martial arts as opposed to boxing. Yeah. Now, I like bare knuckle over traditional boxing.
Oh, heck.
But like game bred MMA or whatever they call that, game bred BKFC or whatever. That's bare knuckle mixed martial arts.
Yeah, I like bare knuckle mixed martial arts. That's
hell sick. Yeah. Hell yeah, boy.
I mean, obviously, unless my boy Ryan Garcia's boxing, then I ain't really
That's
gonna
not
watch
your boy,
boxing, dog.
dude.
That's my boy,
not
dog.
your boy.
That's my boy, dog. I'm claiming him as my boy. But, yeah, Mike Perry with a $600,000 fight check too. I mean, come on now, bruh.
Yeah, pretty good.
BKFC's paying big bucks like that. Bring him in. I think he said he wanted to fight Darren Till next. Was like his next opponent. That's
Okay,
who he
is
wanted to
Darren
call
Till
out.
in
That's
bare
who he called
knuckle?
out. No. Mike Perry's just calling out everyone who he fought in the UFC.
That's good. He should.
He's like, come on, bitch. You fought me with gloves. I'm going to fight you bare knuckle. Let's see who's tougher.
Mm-hmm.
Missed anything. Obviously, sad news today. Francis Ngannou lost a son. That's just horrible to hear for anybody. So
Yeah.
prayers go to his family. Not
guess
much you can really say on that. Just
I guess the child was 15 months old.
that's just
he was born in January of 2023, and obviously he put a couple things out. It's like wild to think about, like some of the tweets and things that he shared. To think like, man, this is like the heavyweight champion of the world.
It's one of the toughest dudes in the world, dude.
It's one of the baddest men on the planet. But like again, it's just a different perspective on the fighters and on fighting. Because you see them how they are on Saturday nights or whenever, like while we watch their fights, and then something real in their life happens like this. I mean, I think everybody, for the most part, that I saw had the same reaction. Like, fuck, man, I can't even imagine. I don't know.
Tough.
I don't even know.
Toughest men in the world. Things like that happen, and it just breaks your heart. And then, obviously, if you're a parent or a father, like, putting myself, like, I see stuff like that, and that stuff just tears me up. Just like, knowing, like, if I lost my kid tomorrow, dude, I wouldn't know what to do. Like, I'm
I'd be a shell of a human.
Near as tough as Francis Ngannou, and like, it just goes to show you, it doesn't matter how tough you are in the world, dude. Like, everybody has emotions, and they catch up to you. Things like that happen. But
something like that for sure.
Thoughts and prayers to go to his family for that. That's just sucks all around. So
yeah.
Let's see. Other news. I just saw announced Fluffy. He's out of his fight. I guess injury. So his fight's now canceled, which sucks because he was on a killing spree, dude. And I wanted to see him fight next because he was.
Who was he supposed to fight?
Roman Dolidze.
And when was that?
That was supposed to be a UFC 302.
Okay.
That was the Poirier Islam card, right?
Ah, okay.
Because wasn't that supposed to be the co-main?
No, the co-main of that's Sean Strickland, Paulo Costa.
Oh, that's right. I think it was the third fight on the card then. All right. And then this Saturday, so we got this Saturday UFC 301, Pantoja versus Urseg. The return of Jose Aldo coming out of retirement. So
I got a theory on that too, man, and we'll get into that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing that because I'm kind of curious to why, unless you're saying it's setting up for McGregor Aldo rematch.
I'm not.
But outside of that, so this weekend, going back to Rio de Janeiro, full stacked Brazilian card, kind of a crazy main event. Kind of took the turn for a lot of people, or turned eyes for a lot of people when they announced it. A lot of people were not expecting this person to be fighting. And now we get Alexandra Pantoja and Steve Urseg out of nowhere. So, I mean, we can kind of start from the top of the card and kind of work our way down and kind of just give our thoughts on each one. And then you can kind of tell me who you think and I'll think it's going to win. And then we can kind of go from there. So we'll start from the main event. Main event is obviously Pantoja Urseg. What's your thoughts? What are you thinking? Kind of cool to see a new, fresh name in the mix. And what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I don't care what his rank is. I don't. I like it. I think it's new blood for a flyweight division that the top of it has seen trilogy and quadruple fights. Like, you know, that's very unusual. That's happened in this division. So if it
for the
takes
past few years too,
for years, dude, and so if it takes the top 10 guy coming in just to shake things up, I'm all for it. I don't care about a ranking. My theory on that would be that Steve Ursig was not the first guy that got offered this fight. I'd have to question if, obviously Amir Albazi, I don't know what the deal is with that. Muhammad Makayev, I don't know what the deal is with that. I know he just fought recently, but it was kind of a boring.
Well,
wrestling
Albazi
match.
was injured, right?
Right, and then Muhammad Makayev, I believe, fought on the same fight night as Steve Erceg, right?
Yep, and Steve Erceg got a knockout, and Makayev got a boring-ass decision.
Right, so I don't know if that was offered to Makayev, but I don't really care. I
don't think it was.
Yeah, I don't care, man. You want to offer it to Erceg because he had a highlight reel knockout and some buzz on his name, and then you do something that's going to get people actually talking about UFC 301 with a flyweight main event, to which otherwise wouldn't get that much wouldn't get that much juice.
Exactly.
I like it. That being said, I think Pantoja wins by submission. I think he takes Erceg down. We talked about this before we started recording. I think Pantoja has just really started to hit the peak of his career. He's hitting his prime in stride. I don't see Erceg having any more than a puncher's chance in this fight.
It's fair. I mean, he's a fucking beast, dude. He's undefeated in the UFC. I don't think he's lost yet, right? I know he's 12-1, but I don't think he's lost in the UFC.
Correct.
Has a good buzz going around his name. And I know Nick's very high on him too. I know Nick's been a fan of him kind of through his before he even kind of got big, or even in the top, the top 15. Nick was a fan of him. So it's kind of cool to see where he's at now. So I'm rooting for him. Sure, if he wins, he wins. It's going to definitely shake the division up.
Yeah,
but
I hope he does win.
If Pantoja pulls it out, I wouldn't be surprised. And then, they're probably going to set him up with likely would be Makayev or Albazi or something like that next. I mean, I don't think you give Royval a rematch. I mean, even though he did just beat Brandon Moreno, who really knows what could be next. It would make more sense if Erceg won, because then you kind of open the division for a lot of new fights. But then do you give, depending on how he won, do you give Pantoja a rematch? Because, we go through that whole spiel
every time.
So it is what it is. I hate that shit, dude. I get it. I think, but see, what's fair for Pantoja is he defended his belt. I feel like if you win once and then lose, you don't get a rematch. But if you win,
like a Strickland, you're saying
fair,
right?
Yeah. But like I said, depending on how the fight goes, obviously, which Strickland lost and won, or could have won that
close
fight.
decision.
So, that was close enough to gear for a rematch outside of Israel Adesanya being in the mix. But if this one's a battle and a war, and Pantoja nearly barely loses or something, maybe it's fair to give him a rematch. But if it's if it's a bad loss, then I don't think he deserves it.
But if Erceg knocks him out, then
no rematch.
Yeah.
Nah, you can't do that. But I'm a firm believer, though. You have to at least defend your belt and win once to earn a rematch for your belt. If you just win and lose, no offense, but if Ilya goes out there and loses against whoever, Max or something, I don't think he deserves a rematch.
Not immediate, nah.
Not an immediate one.
If his depends if Bulk fights next or if Max fights. We don't need to talk about featherweight, but either way, if it's Ilya Max and Max wins, that sets up Max Volk.
Yep, Max Volk 4, yeah.
4. Because it's now Max has the belt. Now, you watch Max knock out Gaethje. You watch that fight just gets so much more exciting.
Exactly. But I only brought him in there because he's one of only 2 that have outside of Ilya and Dricus who've not defended their belts, right?
Yeah, Dricus.
Everybody else
has. Everybody else has. I mean, Alexa Grasso, kinda. I think that was a draw.
Well, that was a draw, yeah. So she got the rematch because it was a draw.
Yeah.
So anyway, that fight is very interesting. It could play out, in any different circumstances. So, and then obviously we got the co-main, Jonathan Martinez versus the unretired veteran of the game.
Hall of Famer.
Top 5 Hall of Famer, top 5, one of the top 5 greatest fighters of all time, Jose Aldo. I mean, it's cool to bring him back and see it. It's weird. It was weird to hear Jose Aldo's back. He just retired last year, or he just he got inducted in the Hall of Fame last year, and now he's back. What's your theory on that? What's your thoughts on that? Because you said you had something, so I'm curious to know what that is.
Yeah. So, well, and put it into perspective. He's 2-1 in his last 3, Jose Aldo.
Yeah.
He hasn't fought since 2022. It'd be about a year and a half since he lost to Merab Dvalishvili.
Yep.
That being said, I don't know this because I know he retired. I know he's like inducted into the Hall of Fame. I feel like all of that information would kind of nullify what I'm about to say. But Jose Aldo put out a tweet recently, and I'll check to see if I could find it, about boxing. And I don't know if you saw this or not, but it made me wonder, like, Jose Aldo, is he in some weird contract situation
to where he had to fight one more fight out in the UFC
before he could go do something else?
That's a possibility.
You know what I mean? Like, because I just feel like him coming back
makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. I can't see why.
It's such a weird fight to come back to, too. Like, what is Jonathan
what?
Martinez benefiting?
Yeah, for what, man?
How does that benefit Jose Aldo's legacy, career?
It doesn't. It does nothing. It's like, I mean, it's cool, I guess, but he's not headlining. You're the co-main. It's cool to do it in Brazil, I guess, but like, you're fighting a guy that most people don't even know. He's the 13th ranked bantamweight. He's top 15 guy, but still, like, I don't see it. So I can't find the tweet that I was looking for. Maybe somebody,
I think I remember reading
can
that,
let us know.
I think I remember reading that.
Yeah, maybe somebody that's listening or watching the video can let us know in a comment or whatever. But I just saw something and it just made me think, like, I wonder, right? Like, I don't know. This is like obviously 100% speculation, but was there or is there some weird contract thing where he had another fight, and if he were to go do something like that, would he need the UFC's blessing, which they weren't going to give him?
Yep.
So he's just finishing out his contract, so then he's free to go do whatever he wants to do. Like Karate Combat, dude. Karate Combat in that
it's kind of cool.
Hell yeah, and a lot of UFC veterans are getting in there. We just saw Luke Rockhold in there get a knockout. So it's like, I think a lot of these guys are starting to be like, I can go do this. I can go do that. I can go
make a name in another organization.
Look at Mike Perry. We were just talking about Mike Perry. Look at fucking Mike Perry, dude.
It's true.
I don't know. All that's pure speculation.
That's actually really kind of an interesting thought to have. It's a pretty interesting thought. I think we should put that out there for the world, and let's see if anybody has any feedback on that or thoughts.
Yeah.
And then we have Anthony Smith. He's still sticking around, I guess, versus Vitor Petrino. Anthony Smith is a heavy underdog. Obviously, Vitor Petrino is coming in undefeated. Anthony Smith is kind of just brain dead at this point.
Yeah, talk about a guy that also beat Ryan Spann, Anthony Smith.
He did, surprisingly.
Yeah, split decision.
But I think Anthony Smith is he needs to calm down, man. Like, dude, you have nothing left that anybody cares to see, bro. Like, I don't know if he's trying to prove it to himself or like what he's trying to do, but he's just making his brain worse.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because like he's 1-2 in his last 3. He fought 3 times last year and beat Ryan Spann. He won one of them.
Yep.
July of 2022, he ran into Magomed Ankalaev. Lost to him, obviously, got knocked out in the second round. Yep. He beat Ryan Spann. He beat Jimmy Crute.
Yep.
It's a weird thing, man, because like realistically, when you're looking at his last 6 fights, I mean, is it championship worthy? No, but it's not like being cut either. I mean, it's actually kind of just like, all right, I guess, right? I mean, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think he needs to do himself a favor, and just stop before this gets too bad. I mean, he's 37-19. He has almost 60 professional mixed martial arts fights.
Crazy.
I mean, he's not that old, but it's like, man, 60.
His brain is that old, though.
It's a lot of punishment. Shout out our boy Marvin Eastman. This man's taking so much punishment. You're going to have nothing left to give anybody. You're
right. And then our second fight of the night, Michael Pereira versus Ihor Petrolio. I don't even know how to say his last name. Ihor Petrolio, who is a beast, but also Michael Pereira is an even crazier beast. And dude just has like the craziest fight style ever. It's fucking awesome to watch. He's electric every time he gets in there. It's hard not for this guy. I think he gets it done. I mean, but to see even him, 41 professional fights, that's fucking wild, dude.
And he was a light heavyweight and came down to middleweight and has seen a little bit more success dropping weight classes, Michael Pereira. So, yeah, I like him, man. I don't know. I mean, Ihor's tough too. Ihor's 20-5.
Yep.
But he's 1-2 in his last 3, so kind of underwhelming. And Michael Pereira's been, I feel like, on a little bit more of a heater. Yeah, he's 3-0 in his last 3.
Yep.
And his last fight was that round 1 submission victory back in March. So he looks really good right now. Yeah, give me Pereira, man, with them backflips and all that other crazy shit he does.
I like it. And then, honestly, this might be my favorite matchup of the night. Paul Craig versus Borola. Boro. He's a scary-looking motherfucker.
Hell yeah.
He's
wrong
scary.
With that boy.
But I love Paul Craig, dude. I want to root for him every time he fights. It's just something about Paul Craig that I like. I don't know what it is. I've always liked Paul Craig.
Yep. He's Scottish, that's why probably.
At the press conference, he goes and paints his face. He's just always up there, just screaming like he's ready to go. Like he's a scary fight for anybody. I don't like that he's a plus 385 underdog. Because his submission game is literally top of the charts. Like it's. I mean, I don't really know how Bora. I mean, I know his submission game is probably good, but like Paul Craig, that's what he's known for, is just catching you when you're not expecting it,
Yeah.
Especially for that middleweight division, his submission game is elite as fuck. But I feel like we've said this 100 times before, and we've just seen Paul Craig lose. So now I'm kind of at the point where it's like,
Yeah,
what do we do?
Right. Boro is on a 12-fight win streak.
Yeah.
4 wins by knockout, 4 wins by decision, or by submission, excuse me. Well, I guess that would mean 4 by decision as well. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Maybe this is slightly racist of me to say, but he is Brazilian. And is the Scottish guy going to out Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu the Brazilian? I don't think so.
But Paul Craig is not just like the Scottish guy, dude. He is the jiu-jitsu guy,
True. Yeah. But again, like the odds on this are, I see it plus 285. So depending on kind of whatever, but Boro at minus 360 or whatever, that's a heavy favorite. I don't like that either. But he, like I said, 12-fight win streak.
He's good as shit. Don't get me wrong, but Paul Craig is vault good as shit.
Right.
So it's really if the Paul Craig that came out before he lost to like Johnny Walker and started losing and shit like that was around, then who knows how this fight could turn out. But
right.
But yeah,
I feel like the expectations for Paul Craig, because he also dropped a weight class, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like the expectations for Paul Craig were a lot higher, and he just hasn't quite lived up to that hype. Like, it seems like a lot of people thought that with him dropping weight classes, he was going to see a lot more success, and a lot more wins would come a little bit more easily, and it hadn't been that way. He's
But
lost
didn't
some
he
close
win
fights.
his first fight down a weight class though? Didn't he
I think
beat
so,
Andre
yeah.
Muniz?
But then he got beat up by who? Brennan Allen.
Brennan Allen was his next fight, which I mean,
Right, I get it. Yeah, I get it. You're talking about like a top 5 guy almost, right? So, or a guy on the cusp of a top
of a
5.
title
So,
shot.
yeah. So I mean, it's tough. That's a tough thing to gauge. Like, so how do you properly gauge a guy like Paul Craig? Do you go off of past resumes, on like the guys he's been in there with, the guys he has beat, or is a loss to Brennan Allen like, well, it's fucking Brennan Allen. So like now he's going against the number 14th ranked middleweight.
Yep.
So are the odds accurate, or should this be slighted a little bit more in favor of Paul Craig? I think it should be closer than it is.
I agree. But yeah, so I mean that's the main event. That's the main card. Prelims, there's some names on there. Jack Shore, 17-1 is on there.
Jamie
Yasmin Lucindo, heavy favorite against Karolina Kowalkiewicz.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple other Oraba, the guy who wears that cool hat.
Oh shit! Are we bringing the hats back?
Yeah, he's the guy. He's the guy that wears the cool fucking hat.
Yeah, say this name, Miktaybek Oralbal from Kyrgyzstan.
Mikey Beck Oral Balls.
Holy.
William Gomez,
opponent, dude, against Elvis Brenner. Look at somebody needs to talk to Brenner about that hairline, buddy.
Dude, he's got it bad,
looking
dude.
crazy.
He kind of looks like I don't even know, like one of those mafia members, cartel members.
He went and took that UFC picture right after he went to Turkey to get a hair transplant.
Yeah, he got them transplants, dude.
Yeah, he got one of them transplants, dude. And he's
that Joe Piper. Have you seen Joe Piper recently?
Yeah, but
every time he goes live, dude, I'll watch it. I'll get on his live, and you just see all the dots all over his fucking head from it. Shit.
Well, look, I got a little balding starting. So, Joe, maybe I'm gonna hit Joe Piper up for his guy, so I can try to stop
there,
it.
brother. And then even in the early prelims, I mean, we have Ismail Bonfim. In the early prelims, I mean, he's definitely a prospect to look out for. Yep. And then I mean, outside of that, it's going to be a solid card. I wouldn't expect stars and stripes and bright lights, but hey, I mean, we'll take what we can get.
It'll be a fun card. Brazilian crowds are always awesome.
I've heard there's pieces of shits.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm sure they are. I'm just saying, they're going to be loud. It's going to be. It's going to be a big deal there. So, it's going to be a fun card to watch.
Remember, they're the same people that didn't even fucking wait around for Glover's retirement.
That's true.
Their own fucking native Hall of Famer didn't even wait around for him.
He also lives in Connecticut. So, you know what I mean?
But,
Is he really, though? He lives in Connecticut.
Are any of them really, there's, how many of
Alex
them are
Pereira, yes.
Yeah.
Alex Paredes from the goddamn jungle, but
him, Yuri fucking lives in a hut in the woods,
Right, right. Well, he's not Brazilian, but yeah, yeah. I mean, I know, I get it. I don't, it's tough to say. I don't, maybe it was late. They need to go to the bar, dude, get their drinking in before the bar shut down. I don't know.
And you know what I have a theory about too that I just thought of on the top of my head. You know who fucks all of this up? Fucked this card up? Islam Makhachev. If Islam would have waited and fought on UFC 300, then we would have got Alex on his hometown card, and then we would have got Islam on 300. But Islam fucked up the UFC rotation and messed everything up.
Yeah, it's Ramadan,
Ramadick. I mean, come on.
I mean, they don't eat from sun up to sundown.
Don't be a fighter.
Right.
I mean, shit.
They're all fighters.
I go to church and I have to wait till after church to eat. I mean, dude, I be starving, but I put my. That's
the craziest.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I go to church. I gotta wait till I get home to eat. I'll be starving.
I mean, starving, dude. Like, come on,
What's that,
bro.
like,
You're a
what's that,
fighter.
like 3 hours?
Yeah, something like that.
It's I mean, they're just not.
I mean, no
fighting.
disrespect to the people out there. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think that it should be an excuse if you're a professional fighter to use as a reason to not fight. Like, you knew what you're getting into. You shouldn't get special privileges because you're.
I would
using
say
that as your.
I would
out.
say the only reason I would disagree with you is if a fighter still fought 3 times, but he doesn't. He fights twice a year. So he'll fight in June, and then he'll fight in like October, November, or something like that. So you get him to fight twice. Last year was so weird because he had the Volk fight, the first one, and then obviously the quick knockout of Volkanovski the second time on super short notice. So
Which was not fair to Volk.
Right.
But Volk took it because he's dumb.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Whatever, that's your religion. If that's what you want to practice, then practice it. But you can't. If I'm a freaking, I'm a Christian, obviously. So, but I'm not going to say like, sorry, man, I can't fight on a Saturday night card at 1 a.m. because I got church in the morning.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to use that as an excuse to back out of a fight.
It's really not the same thing, though, because like Ramadan is an extended period of time every day. It's not just like a Sunday morning thing. I mean, it's every day for however long.
Yeah, but the reason they say they don't fight is because they're fasting, so they're not allowed to eat, right?
You're not allowed to eat from sun up to sundown. So after the sun goes down, you eat or drink. You eat and drink after the sun goes down and before the sun comes up. So
It's just crazy,
yeah,
dude.
Yeah, I mean that's their religion. That's they're Muslim. They celebrate Ramadan.
Like, I feel like if the good Lord blessed you with this ability to become a champion, then He can at least make some leniency and give you a little break to fight during Ramadan.
Well, I mean, again, it's like they care more about their religion, and
I know.
they.
I'm just
care more
frustrated
about...
because it fucks everything up.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, you're still getting Pantoja Usyk, but it is kind of like the B main, right? Like that should have been a co-main event to Alex Pereira, Jamala Hill.
Like, isn't there fighters who have fought during Ramadan though?
I don't know. I mean, a lot of them don't. Like, you don't see, you don't see any of them guys fighting really. So, I'm
and
sure...
how long does it last? 4 months?
No. I don't know. Is it like 40 days, 40 nights? I don't know. Like,
I think
Jesus.
that's the wrong religion there, brother. But anyways, yeah. So besides that point, before I get canceled for apparently, roasting people who don't like to eat, but yeah, let's see what it is. 301. See who's about it. If Ursak's about it, he's about it. If not,
Yeah.
Who the fuck knows, dude? I'm just excited for the next year. I want Leon Edwards to fight so he can beat up fucking Bilal Muhammad.
That's another thing. Like, if you want to talk about inactivity, I love Leon, but like,
well, it's kind of another person's fault. They could have probably fought on this, but guess who wants to take a break?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe
Somebody needs to eat their.
He doesn't even have an announcement.
Like,
he doesn't even have an announcement. Like, where? Like, there's not even a Leon announcement yet.
It's gonna happen in Manchester, bro. They're gonna be the headline in Manchester.
I hope.
And then Tom Aspinall is gonna fight John Jones as the co-main.
Yeah, right. That would be awesome.
That'd be sick.
I think that's
dude.
a possibility. Actually,
that could save us midsummer.
I actually am thinking now that Aspinall Jones is more of a possibility than I thought it was 2 months ago.
You think so?
Yeah, I do. I don't know if it will happen, but I say 2 months ago I would have told you there's a negative 100% chance that ever happens. Now I'm like, yeah, there might be like a 5% chance that happens. It could. Like, it could. I think Tom Aspinall has been doing it the right way, calling John Jones out the right way. like just being just annoying enough, and
He's
like
gonna piss off John Jones. You think?
who the fuck is in their right minds calls out John Jones?
That's true.
Nobody.
That's true.
Nobody does that.
You're right, my friend. But that's it for 301, man. You got anything else?
Nah, man, I'm just excited. Good fight night last week, going into another pay-per-view. And then, I mean, we got some good fights in May coming up too, and we'll get into that. You got St. Louis coming up the following week. It'll be June 1st in Newark, New Jersey with Poirier Islam before we know it, and then Connor at the end of the month. I mean, lot of really awesome events coming up, so I'm just excited for them all.
That is true, my friend. Well, yeah, man. If you're listening this far, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video. Stay tuned for the next one. We got a good fighter interviews coming up soon. A couple of fighters coming on the show, so stay tuned for those. And then we'll be back again for Saturday night, UFC 301 Fight Companion. So be ready to rock with us for that. So we'll catch you guys then, and don't forget to eat because I'm fucking hungry, bro. I'll catch y'all in the next episode, baby. Peace.